and then go to Houlihan, get your 225 rupees, and then take that to Kakariko and buy your bombs, or maybe go to the South Hylia shop. Today, though, we're seeing both. Today, though, we're seeing.
That's we are off here and seeing 20 rupee start. The Houlihan may be the safest way to start, but it's also the slowest because you're spending a full minute or so not checking any item locations.
Yeah, but it does let you sync up well and check Link's house without doing a save and quit. It may be slow, but at least it's the most assured way you're going to get money for the seed for your opening.
Absolutely, and the most common route otherwise is the one that we're seeing here in sync, where you start in Link's house, open the chest, kill a guard, do the tree pull, check the locations here, and tend to go Sanctuary into Forest after this and do more tree pulls and hoping you have what you need before going to Kakariko.
Well, 41 rupees, they have enough for the bottle merchant, and those bombs will help out too, so...
Yeah, and the thing that tends to separate players at this point is whether or not they will go and check the Lumberjack, and you... okay, that's an early move.
And yeah, early Moonpearl will help. We have our map check, crystals at Eastern Desert, Hera is its original red pendant.
We are seeing Finalflame opting to go up and check Lumberjack to get that information, Scaryolive deciding to not do so and just head straight into Lost Woods.
Yeah. Information is kind of an important thing in the randomizer because it helps your routing in the long game.
There's also that little bush crab up there. You're hoping the Hoarder will give you something more useful than arrows, though.
Our container there, and that is 20 rupees on the ledge, so we do not need to fight the Castle Tower Aghanim, or Aga 1 as we call them, for that spot. And hello, sword! There we go. There's a guaranteed weapon for Scaryolive. At least one they can rely on.
Yeah, getting a sword before going into Kakariko isn't going to make any difference right now, but you're never going to say no to that early sword.
And Finalflame is going to pick up that heart container as well. Not a required item, but if you don't find any mail upgrades, Ganon does do like 8 hearts of damage if you make contact with him, so a few is okay.
Yeah, we're already seeing Scaryolive trying to cut some corners here, skipping the heart container, skipping checking Lumberjack, trying to get some time advantage here in the early stages, and most likely hoping that that will continue going. We may see him opting to skip some noteworthy awful checks in, say, left side swamp later down the line.
Well, there's flippers for us, so the Houlihan is no longer in play, and we have gloves as well. Hammer away from entering the Dark World.
And they have more than enough rupees now for the bottle merchant. Early glove usually save and quit to Sanctuary, check the back of escape, 3 very easy checks to do. And of course, tends to be very tricky to get to this early on since there's the dark room in the way, so they're in logic thanks to the glove.
Could also go with a more traditional routing of the overworld and heading over to South Shore to check the dam, mini moldworm, maybe even make the early play over to Agina and not isolate that, or even Ice Heart Cave. And with those flippers, if they find enough money here in Kakariko, they could route in Waterfall Ferry, Zora Ledge, and of course King Zora himself. The scam artist, as we like to call him, because he charges a lot of money for what could be nothing important.
Well, I was just gonna say that about Zora, and that may actually be a signal to first go and do the back of escape to increase the number of locations you've checked and therefore increase the possibility of having those 500 rupees. But as we saw Scary do in the well, he actually skipped out on grabbing 10 rupees there, so that may not be on his mind at all, or possibly just some more corners being cut here.
Yeah. And to that effect, cutting corners is actually pretty fine, but you run the risk of you missing a location that once you get down to that one last item, it could be anywhere, and you've cut so many corners, you're probably going to start going back to those locations anyway and checking them. So overall, this might be time overall lost when they could be focusing on locations they know they need to be in. Okay, we just have Dark World access right out of the gate. We can go straight to
man.
Darkworld right here in Village of Outcasts.
5-minute Darkworld access with MIPS? Oh dear, it's been a long time since I saw this happen.
And Scaryolive is gonna take that play, not go down south or go anywhere else.
Well,
I
this
mean,
is
there's
just
only...
following the logic.
Alright, map check here. Skullwoods and Meyer are our other two pendants, Meyer being the green, and I couldn't quite catch where the 5-6 were. There they are, Swamp and Ice. Ice even being Crystal 5, which is what it's normally.
Oh, I mean, in this situation, there are so many different routing options that you have. Entering the Darkworld at 5 hearts green mail, but how much can you do? Are you even willing to make the Fuse Town play here with 5 hearts, no hammer?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you guess you just go into Skullwoods here first, get those items checked because they're nearby, and you're still looking for a ton of items. Usually you have like 5-6 more items before you get the Darkworld access.
Yeah.
And right now it's just a sword and flippers, really.
So we're seeing two very distinct mindset strategies here, I would say. Scaryolive is immediately following the progression they found. Finalflame, on the other hand, as we see Scaryolive pick up a mushroom, is actually making sure to check all of his early game locations first before he goes following the progression. And that is probably the safer of the two plays, I want to say. Because you run the less risk of missing something on the progression, which in turn means you can do more stuff. Or get a more laser focus, or a better idea of what you're trying to find. Or where the sea wants you to go, rather.
It's also that a lot of players just have this standard basic early game route that they like to take. They don't really enjoy deviated from it too much. But yeah, I mean, 6 hearts Darkworld with just a sword, not really something you want to do unless you absolutely have to. We're seeing Scary here with a lot of devs, intentional or not, just trying to get this bomb jump across.
Yeah. And actually, with what we know, based on what we have in terms of crystals, the flippers, as well as the talismans, we are not going to be seeing Aga 1 today, at least for this seed, because there is 4 different ways Aga can be required, actually. Not many people can realize this. It's Darkhold access. Lumberjack has an item that we need. You can't access the Palace of Darkness area, and hey, there's money there for Sora for Finalflame. And the 4th one is actually a very niche scenario in which the hammer is at the Pyramid Fairy. Unless you glitch the bomb across the water, you're going to be jumping off a cliff, which will detach the bomb. So the only way to get there is to use the hammer or take the Aghanim portal. But with Ice being, and especially Swamp being hammer-locked dungeons, the hammer cannot be a Pyramid Fairy, so...
Well, the thing is also that we may see a super late hammer this seed, because they do have that right side Darkworld access without the hammer thanks to the flippers, and late hammer with early Crystal Thieves Town, it's just a recipe for disaster at some point.
Yeah. This is a prime example of why cutting corners can sometimes backfire, and then once we find the Master Sword, is, well, if that one chest that they have to leave behind, the Thief Town's big chest, has an important progression item, like maybe our Ice Rod or the Canis of Maria. They're leaving that behind, and it's going to be a looming threat in the back of their head, and they might check everywhere else in hopes that it's not there, but in vain.
And we are seeing Scary here taking possibly a slower route throughout Village of Outcasts and delaying the Thieves Town and hoping to get all 3 items before going in. As we're seeing Finalflame here is farming up some rupees before making the Sora call.
Yeah. And
Scary
actually,
here. Scary
actually,
going over here for the 3rd check before going into Thieves Town. It's a bit weird with routing in these checks. And they're fast as well. The boots are really fast though.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But Scary seems to be looking for some other decisions right now because he found those boots going elsewhere and knows that he can just quickly get back anywhere he wants to right now because he has those.
And something to note there about the cave Final Fantasy grinding it, if you go there in the Dark World, that is actually one of our many hint tiles that is available in the game. So we'll probably see a few of them be checked, just to get some extra information on the seed. And I actually do keep notes on these as well, so we can go back and discuss them if we need to.
Interesting Scary here skipping out on the digging game, just going straight for the Smith Chain.
Doesn't have the rupees.
Oh yeah, he doesn't. He is very poor in that regard. That may be one of those locations that will be left behind for a long time. Finalflame here is just taking a big swimming tour and will finalize it over at store, and then I expect him to check the back of Escape and then maybe go into the Dark World?
Well, as I like to call it, Legacy or Reputation. Let's find out what we call the Hype Cave has for us today.
Do the honors.
Alright. Heart container, 5 rupees. Piece of heart. Heart container, piece of heart. Lived up to his more current reputation of being not that great. Like, its legacy has... Well, it earned its name Hype Cave for a reason, let's just say that much. But it hasn't lived up to it in a while.
Do you know the official name for the entire area that surrounds Swamp Palace, including that cave?
Plains of Woe or something? I don't remember.
Plains of Ruin, and that kind of describes how that cave has fallen.
Yeah.
So did you see what was on the store ledge?
I did not.
Well, neither did I.
Well, if it's something important, Final Flame will definitely grab it.
Well, he grabbed the hammer. I presume that was in the Waterfall Ferry.
And... well... that means he can full clear Thieves Town.
Yeah, but he's likely gonna make these... Wait, he is... Oh, this is really interesting. I expected him to go straight into Hype Cave, which is the common thing to do with Hammer Darkworld, but no, he is doing Escape?
I mean, like I said at the start, Escape is not required of this, but it could have important items.
Also, Scary here with a very unusual Smith tour, and not seen the Smith in here before.
Yeah, Smith can only go in single entrance caves, if I recall right. He can't go in connectors.
So presumably Finalflame wants to finish off the entire Escape right now, doing the back after. I'm very perplexed by these routing choices from him this seed. I mean, works out here with the hammer. This is a really big segment in general. It takes a lot of time to get through this. Of course, no boots for him yet. And in addition to that, he has so much to do in the Dark World.
Yeah, I think this is going back to what I said earlier. He doesn't want to leave... I should probably preface this with saying we have this sort of sphere logic we incorporate. I believe all these are technically Sphere 1, and if not 2, at this point. And he's doing all these early spheres of the logic, these early locations, just to make sure that he doesn't miss anything important. And in this case, he's already been rewarded with the hammer, so he's just making absolutely sure that he's not leaving something super important behind and neglecting it. Ooh, Scaryolive, walking on water.
This is a very fascinating Smith tour. Scary's definitely thinking a little bit outside of normal routing options here. And, well, that ice rod is very much required this seed.
Yeah, alright. Finalflame. Doing some good work.
And considering the location on that, it's the furthest chest in. I have no idea when Scary would want to route that in, and Oh, Ice Rod Go mode is the worst thing in the world.
It's like I said, he's playing to his... He's checking all these early locations, and it is paying off in spades here now.
It's still the fact that he will get the boots later, which will come back to haunt him overall. Bottle is very nice before going to the Dark World.
And the net as well. Not that useful, but... Hey, you can bottle fairies, if we find the powder.
At this point, it's very difficult to really tell who has the clear edge. Scary with the boots edge, being able to route everything faster, but these very weird, kind of deep spots. It's a very interesting race to watch.
And there's Scaryolive now with the hammer.
Working very well with the Smith later. It will likely finish off the Smith chain after Sora and then hopefully not die along the way. And then make the call into Thieves Town.
Finalflame is not going over to the
Sick
Village of Alchemist portal. He's gonna check Sick Kid first. Scaryolive is actually leaving Zora behind. The ledge didn't seem to have anything important.
Well, Sora itself didn't have anything important, so it's one of those locations that is likely going to be the very last thing that he checked.
Yeah, and if it comes down between Zora and Escape, Escape might be the one that's chosen.
Finalflame also doing the map check here. His first trip into the Dark World, Scary entered there 10 minutes ago. It's pretty incredible, and he's gonna skip out on that Skull Woods for now. We'll be able to get the boots here as Scary now finishing this massive workout tour for the Smith's son.
I'm surprised we haven't seen anyone dive Thieves Town for the hint that's halfway through.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty clear that both our players will go there soon enough because they can full clear it and get the crystal that's in.
And wow, that review from the Smith must have bombed or something. I don't know. Because he certainly wasn't happy about his world tour.
You kind of just want to be saved from the Dark World, but instead just take you all across Hyrule because reasons. We are now finally seeing this Thieves Town play, which is a full clear, a little bit healthier than before. Scary checking the map again, really making sure that he has the crystals and pendants down.
Yeah. I mean, trackers are helpful sometimes, but sometimes people don't run them because they rely on their memory. I know I'm one of those people. And speaking of trackers, by the way, quick shout out to Kono Tyran and our tracker behind the scenes here, keeping those items up to date for you. Doing a good job already.
Especially in sieges like this where we have two people on very different routes, but they've kind of come together at this point, just as mushroom to see what that will be later down the line, and the Ice Rod for Finalflame. Scary here, taking some different transitions here in Thieves Town that I don't really commonly see.
Yeah, well, maybe that trying to cut corners again.
Also, early boots is not something that you're always used to, so you may not always know when it is faster to dash and when it's faster to just walk.
Well, we'll see if we can get something that we call the God Pixel, because, well, if things work out right, and that's not going to be it, you can dash on that middle conveyor and potentially get a clean run through that hallway of Givos and Bubbles. Oh, well, thanks, game, for telling us an item in this dungeon. Bombos is here in Thieves Town.
And the only situation where that hint would actually be useful is if it's in the big chest, and you don't have hammer. Otherwise, that's a pretty obvious hint. But, you know, I love myself a good bait into Ice Palace.
They do everything they need, and it's right there in the next chest! Oh.
I mean, I still take a hint like that over cashing Ganon's tower. Okay, so Bombos at this point basically only gives access into Ice Palace, and well, there are certain situations where you don't need the hookshot, you don't need the cane to beat that dungeon.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is the key logic to consider, and, well, to simplify at least one aspect of it, if Cold Stare is holding on to a small key, they expected us to have the Cane of Samaria to beat the dungeon.
And the hookshot is just a really complicated, specific requirement of the small and big key location. And due to how those chests are ordered, it's never in the order that you would actually open them when you beat the dungeon.
I think, if I understand the key logic right, I think it has to be one small key on the left half of the dungeon, and the big key does not show up, and that means it's not hookshot locked.
The big key must also show up.
Oh, it must also show up.
And the problem is that and the problem is that one of those chests is the iced tea room, and the iced tea room is always the last location to be checked before the boss. So getting that logic right is a bit weird. And because of bomb jumps and things like that, people just tend to completely ignore Ice Palace key logic.
Oh no! Finalflame dies!
Finalflame did not get the cycle right, did not get that fight right at all, and dying to blind also means that he will be at the top of the screen, so a refight will be that much harder.
He actually did the fight pretty well in the first two phases, but he messed up the third phase. And Scaryolive was not on the sequence either, because if you... To put it this way, Blind is a scripted fight. If you do the same thing every time, he does the same thing. In turn. If you hit him in the very first frame each time in the first phase, he'll go to the right. And then if you hit him 3 more times, and it'll be pretty easy to set him up for another 3 hits. But you saw that Scaryolive actually he actually went left for Scaryolive, which means they were not completely perfect in their execution with the scripted fight. And Finalflame was on script, but the final phase was unfortunately didn't go his way. And right there, another death.
Basically, Blind's pattern completely depends on your positioning, so if you always do the same thing, Blind will always do the same thing. And taking that death, yes, as I said, means that Blind will push himself to the top of the room, and then you can't just walk behind him and get that set up, which makes the fight harder.
Yeah, Blind's one of those fights that you basically want to do right the first time.
Finalflame here is taking another death to get back more hearts.
Yeah, at this point, Finalflame should be heading over. Yes, this is actually a smart play that Finalflame... Oh no, he's actually leaving behind.
I expect Finalflame to cut a lot of corners right now, because he's gonna realize that he is behind, and he needs to skip out on locations and just try and get the items that he's looking for. His one edge right now is that Ice Rod, and he may not know that, but I expect him to do what Scary has done so far, and just make small cuts, but possibly even bigger ones at this point.
There's the Ether Medallion for Finalflame, and I think Finalflame was hoping for 300 rupees here, because there is this house guarded by stakes in the Village of Outcasts. That is actually a normal shop, and a red potion might help him get through Thieves Town that much faster. He might consider picking that up later, in fact, to ensure that he can get through the fight. Because Sword Sneeze will help if he can't get on the sequence.
Indeed, but at this point, I feel like you may just leave that for now. You're gonna come back there later at some point anyway, because Skullwoods may have something. You may get a flute. Whether or not you want the flute because Myers of Penance is a different question. They could still need a flute in order to get up to Death Mountain at some point. And when you go back at that point, that is a good opportunity to go and finish up the dungeon.
Yeah. Come back later when you have maybe some more armor as well.
Now, he does know that there is an item on Blind, but at this point, you're just banking on that item not being something that's gonna put you too far behind.
And in this case, it won't be because, as you can see from Scaryolive, it's just a little shield. So yeah, completely understand him coming back later. It won't bite him too bad. It'll just be a few more seconds to go back into that dungeon real quick on his way to something like Skullwoods.
Yeah, if you feel like you can't do the fight at that moment, it's just better to leave and come back to it later. And he already knows that he has lost a lot of time by taking 2 deaths and then 1 additional death trying to go back there. Scary is making this Ice Palace call though, and there's a good amount of hints there, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is the reason why he's going there.
Yeah, Ice Palace is full of information. In the past, before we had the hint system, this dungeon was very long, only had 3 items, which made it not really valuable. But
well, unfortunately, hints like that aren't very good.
Yeah. Although, if Scaryolive dove Thieves Town, that would actually have been an excellent hit to pick up. And speaking of things to pick up, there's the blue mail for Finalflame.
That's a very nice addition to your defensive capabilities. I will say I'm very much like Scary's routing here, finishing off the purple chest chain and then immediately dashing over into Ice Palace. Feels like a very natural and smooth transition from his part.
Yeah. And using Bombos here, even though it is slow, is an instant kill on the Pengators. Oh, and the bow is there!
Well, I expect an Eastern Palace of Darkness back-to-back within a not-too-distant future from Scary's part. That is an amazing find for him.
Indeed. Can't be mad at that. And we're seeing Catfish now. Let's hope Finalflame finds something good here.
I feel like that's why he went up here. Just a lot of time for one check. You're really hoping that this will give you something of great value. What is the seed? What?
That is value.
Well, the cane doesn't do anything right now, but it's another required item in a location that is a little bit awkward. And we do see that the Firelock section of Meyer is dead, so that's a really good hint to get.
Not only that, it told you exactly what was in Meyer. Cash and a piece of heart. So, if you are diving...
It's still the green pennant, but yeah, you are not going Meyer this seed unless it's your very last check at this point. Well, there's the lamp. We're doing Eastern Palace of Darkness back-to-back soon enough, and that's also Death Mountain access at that, but not much they can do up there without Hookshot and Mirror.
Now, of course, we could have the most trolly location in the entire seed still have something and make Meyer required. But at that point, they know not to dive Meyer hoping for it, so...
I mean, this is just crazy at this point with this spread of items in these far-off spots in the ice and in Catfish. But I do feel like the checks that Finalflame has done, the back of Escape for the Ice Drawing Catfish for Cane of Samaria are more out of the way, because at some point, Finalflame will go into Ice Palace, he will get the bow. The question is, will he do that before or after Eastern Palace of Darkness?
Well, let's see what the old man has. It's a bottle with a red potion in it. That actually helps Finalflame. If he wants to go back to fight blind, he has the safety now that he can rely on to make sure he gets through the fight.
Yeah, that combined with the blue mail should make that fight a breeze for him later down the line.
Yeah. The only question is, when will he route it in? Because I was talking about he might go do that with Skullwoods there. Skullwoods is also a pendant.
Yeah, we have seen the early checks there, though, and it was nothing there. I don't think Scary checked the middle chest, but I could be wrong on that.
recall seeing the third hint here. Is Scaryolive just going straight there?
Cape?
Cape, and another hint as well. Let's see what we got here for information. Armor's in plain... Thanks, game.
Well, we do know that the cape is not required for Bumper Cape because that was checked and it was nothing there, but the cape is a later down the line logical access for Laser Bridge unless they do find 3 shields or Cane of Burn-Up. People don't really care about that logic portion either, but it's still a thing.
Now, that hint would be helpful for Scaryolive if they went to the mountain right away. Finalflame, unfortunately, already checked Pyramid, which is a plain sight check.
It feels like Finalflame is making the call back into Thieves Town right now and may also make the choice to go into Skullwoods. Skullwoods did have that mushroom and we still haven't seen what that is. And if Finalflame goes there, he could fake Powder and at the Magic Bat.
Scaryolive dashing through the room here. I actually just skated. There's no point in trying to build up speed there. And we have another small key. So we have 2 small keys on left side. And I don't think we saw a big key at all.
I think you're right on that.
So this dungeon is, by technicality, hookshot locked. Gonna check this third hint here. Told us where the boots are. There is a guaranteed boots hint, so it's good to know that it was there, but we already found it.
Yeah, these hints are good, but they're too late. Let's just say it like that.
I think someone spoke pretty well in chat when they said these hints are like Slowpoke from Pokemon. They're just a little... They're helpful, but they're a little late.
The Finalflame here should have more than enough. Also has the cape as we picked up that earlier for extra survivability, but doesn't need it now. And Scary got the bomb jump. A pretty new bomb jump actually in Ice Palace, not being as common as other bomb jumps in there.
Oh, it's been around, but it's not one that is commonly used, no.
It's only when you don't have the hook shot.
Scary looking for some more health. Needs to make it across the spikes again. There's the big key. So yeah, Scaryolive is just sequence breaking this entire dungeon here.
And Finalflame will go into Skull Woods, get the mushroom, which may prove quite valuable because of that cane access. I just feel like if Scary doesn't go Eastern Palace of Darkness after this, I'd be extremely shocked.
Yeah, that seems to be what everything wants to happen.
Because by the logic, he should have the lamp because its boots locked, and should also have the cane because the cane, they had access to the cane when they got Darkwall access at 5 minutes. That's a thing.
Well, they also needed the flippers at that point, but they did have those.
Yeah, they got the flippers before the Darkwall access, and they still had Darkwall access at 5 minutes.
And Scary, we didn't even mention this, but one of the items Scary found in here is a blue potion. So, second bottle for them. But more importantly, that blue potion will help out a ton in the Cold Stare fight coming up here.
Yeah, this is not an easy fight. Master Sword, Hammer, without Fire Rod. He's gonna go and resupply his hearts here by grabbing a fairy.
Yeah. Might even fill that second bottle. I believe Scary checked the back of Escape. I'm not too sure.
Nope. Pretty sure he hasn't been to Escape at all at this point. He's according to the tracker, he doesn't have the net, so...
Yeah, I don't think Scary made that one part of their grand tour with the blacksmith.
Scary has done some interesting routing choices in this seed, and they mostly worked out. It's just the cane and ice rod are in such bizarre locations in this seed. Well, I think there's one item in the back of Skull Woods.
So someone is asking in chat what the number beside the name means. That is the points for the league, of course, and currently, these two have gone 0-2 in the league. So they don't have any points just yet, but they're gonna get some today.
Well, Scary missed the initial spin on Coldster. They're not managing to get into a corner. It's gonna be a super rough fight. Yeah, has to use the blue potion after only taking one hit. Only green mail. They're juggling all three puffballs and the ice, and at this point, I think just a simple touch by Coldster here will kill you.
Yeah. And just a reminder, chat, we do have knowledge of 3 bottles. We have one at Old Man, one in the back of Sanctuary along with the net, and the one we found in Ice Palace with the blue potion in it. I'm not sure if Scary has picked up the one.
Close.
I'm just not sure if Scary picked up the one in the back of Escape or not.
I don't think he has, but 2 of them are down, and at this point, just keep on playing safe. There's no reason to overdo it. That's a very long fight, but he does get it down, and that was not cane locked.
No, it was not. Blurred item. Mushroom turned in for Final Flame is just for 50 rupees.
So he turned that in without fake powder?
Good question.
I think he must have done that. To be fair, I can't remember the last time fake powder actually gave you something of value.
I mean, it still aids you from going hunting down the powder later if it's required.
Oh look, it's back of Escape at 37 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to. All these checks that all of Scary's cutting corners is now starting to pile up.
Well, here's the big question for Finalflame, if he's gonna go into Eastern Palace after Sahasrara here. It's quite unlikely he will get something here in the back. Yeah, that was complete garbage.
Well, if we know there's a unique item in the back in Sahasrara's closet, we know that's talking about the single arrow, because that is a unique item. Just to mess our runners in terms of the hints.
Yeah, I love super unhelpful hints. It's almost like most hints are like that.
Well, not all are bad. It just depends on when you find them, really.
Unfortunately, that is true, but this call here by Finalflame, we know where the bow is, and this is going to hurt a lot for him.
Maybe not. That he would have to double dip this dungeon, but he could find something like the Fire Arrow, which will in turn make his Coldster fight all the more easier.
That is true, but he would still have to double dip this dungeon. And you would prefer to avoid having to double dip any dungeons. And even more so if he decides to go into Palace of Darkness following this.
Yeah. At the very least, I'm okay with double dipping Eastern Palace, because it's a relatively short dungeon. It's not like Ice Palace, which will take you another 3 minutes just to reach the boss if you, say, die to them. This one will only take you about maybe a minute and a half tops.
But so far the dungeon has been very kind, giving 2 items in the first 2 chests, and if this is the boss key coming up and then the 3rd item is in the big chest, he can just leave after that. Otherwise he has to go around, and that would be terrible for him. We're going around.
I mean, it makes sense to me. Piece of corn and sweet. Ah, there it is. I was wondering where we get one of these 100% useless hints. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who have not seen that before, that is a joke hint. This child is green and gives the link face there, and provides you no helpful information whatsoever towards the seed. There is at least a couple of them in these settings, I believe.
Yeah, that they are in, and causing frustration as per always to the...
Oh!
That's actually quite good for Finalflame if he decides to just leave Palace of Darkness and not bottle glitch the right side.
She could do, which is unfortunate. Big key. He's gonna check the big chest and then... Actually, no, I don't think he's gonna walk out of the dungeon. I think he's gonna save and quit.
Yeah. Doesn't have mirror, and therefore would take a long time with blue mail. Almost has an item.
Magic Caves and Spectacle Rock, that's a hint that we just got in Dark Palace. That is actually helpful to or Scaryolive at least.
Yeah, you may opt to skip that item and that hint entirely because of that, ending up saving a little bit of time.
But here's the thing. Remember I said to take hints on the notes? The hint at Spectacle Rock told you that the armor is in plain sight. So may not go looking for the checking plain sight location like the pyramid as a result of that, and not get their blue mail.
Yeah, but if you can avoid going there, I think you're just gonna avoid going there. Like, I don't think that blue mail is an item that you would go that far out of your way in order to pick up. Of course, it might also depend entirely where the other mail upgrade is. I mean, if you find that, then you will definitely not go and pick up that one.
And yeah, right now, Pyramid is a 100% isolated location for Scaryolive, having already done Hype Cave and Shining Area, but he might do Pyramid to Catfish.
Yeah, that could be something. Maybe he finds Mirror and can do... I don't think he checked King's Tomb, like do King's Tomb into Catfish. Would be a possibility in that case.
Well, Titan's Bits and Boots, we already have access to King's Tomb. Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, Catfish would probably be the more ideal play.
Yeah, but if you do get the Mirror, you can check Graveyard Ledge alongside that.
Or, if you get the Mirror, you could go with somewhat of a more riskier play. Looking at the items here, we have, if we got the Mirror, we have the Hammer and the Flippers. We could dive into Swamp to see if the hookshot is in its dungeon it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's not an ideal play, I'll admit, but
No.
Randomizer's done that before, let's be real.
I mean, at this point, I expect something to be in Palace of Darkness because the entire dungeon is bow-locked. So, it's basically as deep as we're getting into the logic.
Yeah. Very nice of Scaryolive to know that the torches are there.
So far, so nothing here in Pod. But if we presume that Palace of Darkness doesn't have anything, and that Armos doesn't have anything in Eastern Palace, well, Scary has some locations he can clean up, like doing Escape, but none of those things are really gonna give any progression, so where is the progression? Kingstone? Or Swamp?
Go Woods.
Oh yeah, I think there is one item in the back of Skull Woods, so yeah, that'd be something.
Could also follow the Fire Rod. Ice. Oh my goodness. Oh, no, wait. I almost said, hey, let's go to Turtle Rock. We are missing the means to get over to the east side of Death Mountain.
Yeah, but now you just said it, so it kinda didn't work out for you there anyway. Meanwhile, Scary having a lot of trouble here in the Stark Maze.
Unfortunately, taking the death there. Dark Maze is not an easy place to get.
And fortunate for him, he did not pick up the lamp just right next to Sanctuary. The Dark Maze is in logic, but the logic is a little bit all over the place for our players because they've been to such widely different locations until Finalflame will now open this chest here and get the bow.
Yeah. I say in terms of just pure dungeon progress, Scaryolive has the advantage, but Finalflame has a more complete sense of what the logic is expecting.
Yeah, he has everything we know about except for the Fire Rod, and I mean, he's going back to Eastern Pod after this, so he will get the Fire Rod.
Yeah,
Maybe something
there
else.
was no doubt.
Still, he has a tough Cold Stare fight ahead of him here, so... Scary here is back in again.
Well, Marge got, or Scaryolive got something there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Oh, they do the bug. Oh, wait.
He's been on the back of Escape now, so he has the bug net. Now, it is planned for the next version of the logic, that is V31, to allow all items in Darkroom to be seen when you open a chest. So
yeah.
It's a planned thing for the future.
Which will help us a lot. Now we're guessing what we found based on sound cues and looking at the menu. It'll speed everything up by a little bit. And there shouldn't be any game-breaking things there.
It's mostly just a quality of life change.
Yeah. And if I may be honest, one that is long overdue.
Well, Pod didn't have anything so far, so unless the bosses have something, it's been 2 duds. Except for that Fire Rod, but that only unlocks 1 location.
Yeah, there's not much we can do, really.
Yeah, the hookshot is the big item here, as it would open up Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, Swamp Palace. Suddenly the entire world is open.
Wait, I just thought of something. Did we find the swamp key in Escape?
I can't remember.
I think we found the map. And I don't think either of our runners have checked the Dark Cross chest.
That may be vanilla.
Yeah, which is why I'm wondering if they checked the small key or not.
Well, it wasn't in the back. I know that.
I don't call it Finalflame found it on the front dive either.
Well, Finalflame now needs to get this first spin. It does get it, and will get close. Got some nice hits there, and we'll have a little bit of an easier fight here, but still very much a rough one. And he did not prepare those bottles, but he does have a red potion.
Did he go straight to Cold Stare?
He may have done that.
Alright, so he may not have the blue potion that Scaryolive found. He does have 1 Fire Rod shot to take advantage of. He wants to try to get rid of one.
He doesn't have the Fire Rod. He's not been into Pod.
Oh, right!
But he can use the cape for just like 1-2 seconds. That's about it.
Yeah. He wants to feel super safe! Oh my goodness, he almost got hit there.
Meanwhile, Scary is doing these Dark Turtles, which are not easy at all. Very nice double spin there in the end for Finalflame to pick up the kill.
Very nicely done, and we're now seeing the Helmasaur King fight. It is, I believe, 17 hammer swings to the mask.
Yep.
Followed by 8 arrow shots, or 4 hammer swings, depending on what you choose.
Now Scary's playing the safe and just using the Master Sword. Regardless whether or not Finalflame full cleared ice or not, if you didn't do that, I think this is a perfectly fine decision. Just leave out those locations, because you still feel like you're behind after that Thieves Town and after that Eastern Palace.
Scaryolive did not find anything here of importance in Palace of Darkness.
Just very interesting. And this place was bow-locked?
Well,
So
it was a crystal.
Yeah, but are we looking at, like, back of Skull Woods, Kingstone, and Armos for the progression?
Maybe... Again, the Dark Cross, I'm not 100% sure if we found the small key or not. There's a few fringe locations we haven't checked yet. But I think, in terms of our next piece of progression, it's the mirror.
Spy Cave.
Spy Cave. Wait, that puts the cape in logic.
Yeah, the cape puts Spy Cave in logic.
I completely forgot about that. Good memory, chat. Good memory.
I mean, Swamp is also a thing without the mirror, or not. Wait, what? That was another thing.
Yeah. Could, however, dive Swamp just to check the hint, though. The hint is available even without the mirror. What
Yeah, that could have been something. But I feel if that's something you want to do, maybe you want to do that after, say, what's it called? Purple Chest. And we've already seen Purple Chest, at least from the scary side.
Yeah.
Because he just went Purple Chest straight into Ice Palace. Oh yeah, we also still have a Gina, because everyone forgets about a Gina.
No, I think Finalflame checks Ice Rock Cave.
They both checked Ice Rock Cave.
Yeah.
Finalflame checked it and then went to Sora, and Scary checked it later with the boots. I mean, this has been a pretty wild seed with the players routing the seed a little bit all over the place, and the items also being a little bit over the place.
Yeah, it's given us a lot, but now we're just missing that one key piece of the puzzle here, and it's most likely mirror.
Yeah, but they would prefer to see the hookshot so they don't have to go into Swamp without it.
Well, even if it's just the mirror, that gives them access to Turtle Rock completely. Along with all the checks over on that side.
Well, the hookshot would do that as well, presuming they have the medallion for Turtle Rock, and would give them hookshot key.
Ah, yes, I keep forgetting about the Turtle Rock man. We don't even know what that is.
That could just as well be that. The thing is also that Bombos wasn't required for Ice Palace because the Fire Rod was in logic. Now, I still don't think Scary has handed over the mushrooms, so he could, if he decides to leave that, do the fake powder, and maybe that is something.
And someone is asking chat, was there a pet hint? None of the hint tiles have given us all requires 3 even pendants, if that is what you're asking. But no, we have not. Also have no book to actually check the pedestal directly.
Yeah, the only thing we know about the pedestal and things related to it is that there's only one item left in Skullwoods, and Mr. Meyer has nothing except for the green pendant.
Which the green pendant itself could have something. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
Oh my goodness, what if it's actually the flute that we find as our next piece of progression, and then the green pendant turn in has the mirror? That would be evil.
They will still need a hookshot to get the pendant from Tower of Hera.
Oh, I mean, that's true, but I'm saying, like, the green pendant has, like, the hook shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. It could happen. but let's not be too mean to the players right now. This seed has done that enough for them at this point.
I suppose you have a point. I mean, I'm just acknowledging the possibility that it exists.
Yeah, that's the thing with Rando. There's a lot of possibilities for everything. We're just sitting here and waiting for Scary to kill Armos and see if that is the progression we're waiting for. He still needs to go to Back of Escape to get the Ice Rod, and still needs to go to Catfish to get the Cane of Samaria. So for him, it may actually be better if there's no progression here. Also, the lamp at Bonk Rocks would be pretty nice.
Alright. Setting up here for the Armos Knight's quick kill. 5 shots this way. Quickly run over to the... Oh no!
This is fine. Doesn't really matter all that much.
Oh
well,
no!
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's our flute. I think the worst case scenario has come to pass.
That's absolutely, absolutely not the item that you want to see. Just no.
Yeah. Because it doesn't... While Pedestal's not completely alive right now, we know that left side, the Firelock side of Swamp has... I'm getting all the dungeons mixed up. The left side...
Mire.
The Firelock side of Mire has a money and a piece of heart. So, the flute only unlocks the Mire Shed, which could have progression, and the green pendant.
Yeah, we're gonna start off here with King's Stuff. Please, Seed, why do you do this to me?
Well then.
It's technically progression, I guess. Well, he can check that together with the activation of the flute while he gets the lamp here.
Marge, I think we're gonna be here for about another hour or so. Just a hunch.
Yeah, it's one of those seeds.
It's one of those seeds.
Welcome to Rando, everyone. So, Scary gets the lamp. We go activate the flute, and then most likely check Magic Bat, or Mad Batter, which is its official name. Don't ask me why. No, he's going up Death Mountain. Or maybe he's just checking Lumberjack, because he didn't do that earlier. Yeah, he's just checking.
This is most likely checking Lumberjack and then going up Death Mountain?
Yeah, that could be a thing, but when you have the flute, you can just fly up there.
Good. Good. So yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. Scaryolive is now spending a little bit of extra time doubling back and checking these corners that they've cut. So they'll only really save time if those cut corners led to progression. And for the most part, it did, but not quick enough.
I mean, this would have worked out so well as long as Catfish didn't have Cane of Samaria, and Ice Rod was not in Zelda's chest in the Back of Escape. And the fact that those two are there and they are so far out of the way, I don't think Scary's really gonna be able to check those anytime soon. We're gonna see Finalflame now on the Helmasaur King fight.
Alright. I think there's only one place that Scary's gonna be going.
Oh, he's skipping Mad Bat even. Oh, he's going for the mushroom.
Yeah, that makes sense. You already had the powder.
Yeah, and this is a very easy quick check. You really don't want to go into Mire if you absolutely don't have to.
Oh, not only do we know it's a pendant Mire, we know that the items are on the left side Firelock and not required because they're non-progression items.
Yeah, both items are Firelocked and they're both junk. Which leads me to believe that the hint in Mire is going to be the best hint in the entire seed, and they're not gonna get it.
Desert Ledge has the mirror shield.
Still skipping Edina, though.
Yeah, and still skipping. Well, I think if the mirror is somewhere in Mire, you're gonna route that after Checkerboard Cave, so this makes a little bit of sense.
Indeed it does in that sense, and also gives you the full clear capabilities of Desert Palace as Ether.
We can enter Misery Mire, folks, and we can actually full clear it as well.
This is the biggest bait I've seen in a long time.
300 rupees.
Never mind.
Bullet dodged, but maybe the mirror is still. But maybe Hookshot is on the green pen to turn it. We don't know that yet.
Please, no. Let's be a little bit nice to our players here. The mirror opens up a ton of locations. The entirety of Death Mountain is basically open. Parts of Dark Death Mountain is open.
Yeah.
Hookshot can still be in Swamp if you want to be that kind of person.
Oh, hell with the fishes.
Wow. That's a fantastic hint for Scary. He has been to Sora. He knows that's a catfish.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't been to Sora? I thought he was.
He didn't have the he didn't pay Zora.
Oh yeah, he didn't have the money. That's right. But that's still good because he has the mirror, so you can check those two back to back. But that's the cane hint. But there's still that ice rod though.
Oh, I just realized something, and this is not nice.
Pray do tell.
Well, with the mirror, one item can now appear on the pedestal. That is 100% required for this seed.
Oh, the hookshot.
The hookshot.
You know, I think it's more likely the hookshot is in Turtle Rock. And that's kind of the problem here if Scary goes into Turtle Rock without the ice rod.
Yeah.
But at this point, from our perspective, we are just looking for the hookshot, possibly Quake. It would of course be quite nice to have an additional sword of silver arrows there down the line.
He'll probably not check the pyramid. Sierra will probably not check the pyramid, unfortunately. Which we know is armor, but really, the only reason he would go up to Catfish right now is to check Catfish. There's no other checks on the way.
Graveyard Ledge.
That's true. Yeah, he'll probably do Graveyard Ledge to Catfish.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge to Catfish
Cave.
Sora.
Yeah, we've already seen Hype Cave, so there's nothing that can be there.
Finalflame gets his flute. Scary out of fire rod shots and will hope for just using the regular Master Sword. And will actually bring out the bow for this fight.
So, Finalflame will be, after checking Meyer, a mirror away, or a hookshot away from go mode. Scaryolive will need to find that ice rod, and we currently have no information whatsoever. I say the best way for Scaryolive right now is to go get the Cane of Samaria, Hera, Turtle Rock. And only checking Hera mainly for the hints so that you can maybe find your ice rod. Turtle Rock doesn't seem like a good play, but maybe you're hoping that the hookshot is there, and by virtue of that, maybe you'll find an ice rod hint or something.
That's still a double dip into Turtle Rock, and it takes a long time to climb up there.
Yeah, that's the options I'm weighing here. Is Scaryolive is got sort of a catch-22 because they're not going to be checking escape at any point. I don't feel they're not incentivized to do that at all.
Unless they actually find the hookshot, go do Swamp, and do the big bomb. And then they mirror over and check escape.
Well, here's the thing. Based on what we know,
it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, the only reason Scaryolive would check the big bomb is if they had the hookshot, first off, because they need it for Swamp. And as we know, because the hookshot cannot be on the Pyramid Fairy because of that very fact, Pyramid Fairy has nothing, so that would just be a little bit more time sunk.
Yep, but it's really the only way I can see it being reliably routed in at this point. It's either that or just making a wild call to go check Pyramid back of Escape and then go do Catfish Sora.
I mean, for all we know, our hookshot can be in Spike Cave.
Yep.
And
Could also still be on in the back of Skull Woods or on the pedestal or Green Pennant or something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, though, it's Spike Cave, and I'm only saying this because of the hint we got regarding the cape. They told us specifically where the cape was. And I just have a feeling that the hint system would not do that without a reason. Now,
I see you put faith in the hint system.
Well, I would like to think that the hints have a reason for existing. At least the more important ones, like giving us a major item location.
I don't know. I've seen like unique item requires the big bomb, and then it's a shovel and it digs you up a piece of heart.
I mean, there's.
I don't trust the hints 1 second when it comes to vague things like unique items.
I don't know. Maybe I'm relying more so on the Ocarina of Time randomizer, in which those hints actually tell you, hey.
Yeah, those hints are good.
Yeah, those hints are good.
But this is A Link to the Past, different game, different systems. Now, I mean, Scary is going Pyramid here at least, but is he taking the Miracle here? Because if he is, this is fantastic for him. And if not, I can't see him route in Escape at all.
Yeah, checking the Imperial, given the
That'd
mail.
be, though. I'd be screwing over that super speed for him.
And even if I'm wrong about the Magic Cape being required for by Cave Hookshot, it could still be required for Laser Bridge. Even though we do know the Mirror Shield is currently available.
Yeah, that could be the thing with the cape here.
And Scaryolive is not going to escape.
I don't really think this is surprising. You had so many items early that it just seems unlikely that there is more stuff early. And when Ice Rod is a crystal, how often do you get the Ice Rod early? Let's be fair. Come on, let's be fair here.
Depends on how nice the seat is, actually.
There's the cane for him. I will take the time to check Sora since he's here and has the rupees for it. It's actually been an interesting thing that they struggled with the rupee counts we've seen earlier with not being able to afford a digging game, not being able to afford Sora.
Finally, going to take the Fire Rod to the Land Molas. Nice double hit there, but unfortunately does not get any more damage on the third one.
So I just think Scary's going up Dev Mountain at this point. I swear, I think at least one person watching this was baited at that point, thinking, oh, he's going Escape. No, he's not.
Alright, so Scaryolive is doing the Death Mountain full clear, it looks like. Starting with the old man.
I mean, there's a ton of items up here. This is definitely the call to make, in terms of just checking as much as possible. And I don't think Finalflame will go into Mire here just for the green pennant. It's a lot of time for just one item.
I completely agree to that.
And likely that you have the medallion and can just go ahead and full clear Turtle Rock.
Yeah. I say this is definitely go up the mountain for Finalflame. This is going to be a double mountain climb. Now...
Scary had the hint for that, I think.
Yeah, just reconfirming.
So I don't really know what is the best case situation here for Scary regarding the hook shots. Like, because of where the ice rod is, there's really nothing that's leading it towards him. Unless he gets a hint about it.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario for Scaryolive, is checking pendant Hera, because Hera has 2 hints. First hint says, the hookshot's in Mimic Cave! And Final is about to get that information! Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have a very soon we're gonna have a go mode here.
Yeah, Finalflame is gonna come in here and see this and realize that, oh, wait, that's the only item I'm looking for. I don't have to keep on going here. Goodbye.
Yeah. And Scaryolive is making the same play, I think, but the difference here is Finalflame has the ice rod. This is go mode for Finalflame. He doesn't have the hookshot yet, but he has the information he needs to finish the seed.
Unless this is Quake and they're still gonna go and look for that, that is still something to consider. And Scary still has these additional checks to make because he's still looking for one more item.
That is true. It could be vanilla medallion requirements for the seed.
And that would actually be the best for Scary right now.
Alright, moment of truth. Is it Quake to enter Turtle Rock? It is Ether! We are officially in go mode at 1 hour, 12 minutes.
We're not in go mode just yet, but we're basically in go mode.
Yeah. He's in an information go mode. He doesn't have the item yet, but he knows exactly where to go to find it. Because of the hint we just got in Hera.
You know, can you imagine that we actually got a seed with not a single pendant dungeon having something required? Oh, that sword, though, is going to be very nice for Scary. That's his only real edge here.
No pun intended, I presume?
I didn't even think that was a pun until you mentioned it.
Smiling Indian, Finalflame is technically in go mode because we just got the hint that said the hookshot is in Mimic Cave. And that is the last item he needs.
Yeah, Finalflame will clear out Turtle Rock here, get the hookshot, go to Swamp, clear that dungeon super quick, and then climb the mountain again. At this point, this is his race to lose. It just seems very unlikely that Scary is going to rush to the ice rod at this point. I think he's just going into Turtle Rock and will then proceed to full clear Swamp Palace. Unless there is a useful hint in Turtle Rock for the ice rod.
We just have the hint, it's a joke hint that said, just walk away. Which was actually a helpful hint for Scaryolive.
Yeah, but it's a joke hint, so it's not meant to be taken seriously. I mean, I'll still say, that early call from Finalflame to do escape despite having 5-minute Dark Hole access was really out there, but it's that one call that is by all accounts giving him and his team the Immortals to win here today.
Yeah. And it goes back to what I said at the start of this cast. You check your early... There's all this knowledge about sphere locations there. Finalflame checked his early sphere locations, and he got rewarded for it in spades. It looks like he was behind there for a little bit, but just checking those early locations, getting him the ice rod, that gave him the edge he needed in order to pull ahead here. This will be a Master Sword Silverless fight, which is not the easiest fight. Matter of fact, it's the hardest way you can fight Ganon. But
let's be fair. Depending on the big key location in Ganon's tower and chests that you open along the way, we may still find the 4th sword and we still find the silver arrows.
Yeah. He might check some chests along on the mountain just in case. He finds like a tempered sword. Might not feel comfortable with the Master Sword Silverless fight.
It's a really rough fight, and it's long, and with no half magic, it's quite restrictive. He does have a good amount of rupees, he can buy 2 blue potions with that, and that will help, but he doesn't know that he has the lead that he has. He's most likely still thinks that he is behind because of the deaths in Thieves Town.
Yeah. He died 3 different times in Thieves Town, 2 of them to blind, so... He's in a... might think he's in a rough spot, but that Ice Rod alone is giving him the edge.
And it's quite a significant one. Scary will not be able to clear this turtle rock. He's gonna have to double dip it, and that's a big trip he's gonna have to make back up here later and into the dungeon. I mean, all things considered, because of the hint for the King of Samaria, the only really out there item is that Ice Rod in the back of Escape. Everything else has been pretty kind to them. I mean, the flute was not really something you wanted to see, but it gave you the mirror. It could just as well have been the mirror on the Helmasaur King.
Yeah, and there, as you just saw, now we have the Finalflame hook shot. He knew it was there, so officially now he has all of his items that he needs for go mode.
11 hearts, blue mail, 2 bottles. Does have a net. Cape, no half magic. Scary here. Fortunate death, but it does have a fairy as the backup. And really a death there is not the worst thing because you just get back to the entrance. In fact, a little bit surprised he could have just mirrored out and grabbed the full magic at the entrance anyway.
Laser Bridge is required. We'll be seeing that here in a little bit. And given Finalflame's current health situation, I don't blame him if he wants to take the emergency exit here real quick just to have that restart point.
But bringing back to those early deaths, he may feel like he is quite far behind here and may just say, I don't have the time, I have to take the risk.
Well, he has to do laser skips here or use the cape to get past the laser eyes.
That is true. He skipped out on the shield on Desert Ledge.
Oh!
That's really unfortunate.
Very rare moment of Sonic chirping. You never see that out. See that in his games.
Yeah,
and yeah, taking the safety door. I don't blame him whatsoever. This is... If you're doing laser skip, this is 100% the right play to make.
He may even opt to do a Death Warp after checking the items just to get his health back. Especially if that happens.
Yeah. Could also just powder the anti-fairies in the next room, but he's going to be using most of his mana to check the first 2 chests. And yeah, that was expected. And yeah, this was 100% guaranteed laser bridge with a key on the... with one of the keys in the big key chest. Oh right, he didn't go to King's Tomb. I completely forgot about that.
Yep, Finalflame never got the powder. Now you can still... No, he can't even fake powder because he delivered in the mushroom, so he really has no opportunities here. He is low on the safeties. I'd argue just take the Death Warp, get your health back. I mean, we're sitting here. We know how far ahead Finalflame is right now. He has no idea, and most likely under a ton of pressure at this point.
Yeah, the one thing that Finalflame does not have is a combat advantage. And that could come into play if he's having trouble with Ganon.
Yeah,
Because
that's a lot of spins. 52 Master Sword spins in total.
Yep. There's a hookshot for Scaryolive. However, not in Go mode despite having that information. Because lacking the Ice Rod.
Yeah, and he's gonna keep on going here towards the Easter Bridge and then likely going to full clear swamp following this. Finalflame here opting for menu straps with the hammer.
Taking his time as well.
I did not get the menu there, so did not get the quick switch there over to the Ice Rod. It's a little bit tricky. It's a very precise timing, because you need the Ice Rod to hit, and then, before the head starts exploding, switch over into the Fire Rod.
Oh! Alright, he's got a blue potion, so he's gonna drink it to be safe. Tridents is not an easy fight.
I think we may see, once he's finished with this dungeon, just fly to the Witch, buy some potions, then go into Swamp, just to be prepared for Ganon's Tower.
Stop that ice from shooting! Oh, I didn't!
It's fine, it's in a position where it won't really matter for the second phase.
Yeah. Alright, gets a spin off, so now he just needs 8 slashes. Gets the cave out just to be safe.
Unfortunately, missed some early hits there. You can hit the head at the start of phase 2, but later on you can only hit that middle part for some reason.
It's probably because the entire snakehead does not become invulnerable until a few moments after the fight ends. And Trinex drops the book of Bakura!
No! Oh,
that's really bad for Scaryolive! Because they might think that the ice... No, I stand corrected! That's not a good... That's a fine, that's fine. Because Scaryolive can't actually kill Trinex and get the book.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Whew!
Yeah,
we are
really
over-exaggerating for nothing there.
I love when a seed gets so deep into your brain that you're just so thoroughly confused over literally everything. But yeah, we are seeing Finalflame going here, going to buy some blue potions before making the call into Swamp Hands. Only buying one. That overworld death I don't think was intentional for Scary, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Don't think it matters.
But Scaryolive will be full clearing Swamp, as much as that sounds bad. No?
Spike Cave.
Alright.
Or... Wait, it was an unintentional death. What did it... Which location did he forget to check over there?
Hookshot Cave.
Oh yeah, Hookshot Cave, that makes sense.
Now, even though Finalflame is in a go mode state, I expect at least chests that are on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. He would want to find an additional sword or silver arrows to help along the way.
Yeah. Because if you can make that phase work in any faster, you do it. Unfortunately, we know one of the swords is on Death Mountain.
And he is not getting that. He's not gonna head into Paradox Cave.
So he's really hoping for the silver arrows or the tempered sword to be on the way. Which he could be. It could be in Ganon's place.
It's interesting. He's even checking hints just to get some information. Well, yeah, that doesn't really help him, but it's a little bit helpful for Scary because he hasn't checked that location, but at this point, Finalflame needs to take a lot of deaths to Ganon and the Gauntlet here.
Alright. Finalflame just probably doesn't think they're in Gombo, but they're not going to be checking overworld locations anymore. Tempered Sword! There he goes! Finalflame's to go! Finalflame has a weapon. What a chest to check!
I mean, he had more chests along the way. He may still opt to check some more for silver arrows, but he's not gonna go as far out of the way as he did to check that chest.
Yeah, it's gonna be literally checking the waterfall chest on the way to Argus.
At this point, it's just the question for the silver arrows, wherever they may be. And we may not see them at all this seed.
Yeah, again, it will tell us later. Or maybe we'll just find it here in Scaryolive as they are checking Spike Cave.
This has been in logic for a long time, though.
Well, there's a boomerang.
Starting to wonder when that one was gonna show up.
To clarify something in chat here, Finalflame did have the Master Sword, which would have forced him to do spin attacks against Ganon, but now that he has the Tempered Sword, he can do slashes instead up until phase 4. Speeds up the fight by a good 2 minutes, I would say.
He doesn't have to do 52 spins to defeat Ganon.
Yeah, it's gonna be...
He needs 12 for the last phase now, instead of 24.
And also, he can do slashes instead of spins for the other phases.
Overall, this makes the fight that much easier and really helps that final phase, especially because there's no half magic, so you can be a bit more liberal with fire rod shots.
Alright, so Finalflame's fast approaching the final crystal of the seed on Argus.
No menu boss or anything necessary here for him.
That's also probably why he was looking for a Tempered Sword there as well, because the Argus Master Sword fight is not exactly the funnest one.
That's the interesting thing with Argus. It's a very easy boss fight relative to a lot of the other fights, but it's pretty boring phase 1 unless you know the quick kill setups. And if you have a weak sword, you can't do that.
And it looks like Finalflame's just gonna go for 2 spins just to wrap this up. And there we go. Argus has fallen. Gives him a little bit of ammunition. And ladies and gentlemen, was that 7th crystal, we have a game you'd like to play. Marge, would you like to explain it while I get it started here in chat?
You know, there's a good amount of item locations inside of Ganon's tower, where that one little big key can be. It's kind of required in order to progress, so people like just put random numbers into chat to guess where it is, so go ahead and get your numbers in.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's where we want it to be. I'm gonna say middle of the road. I'm gonna say 12.
I mean, I want 1, but I'm saying 3.
Hey, yeah, folks, if you are a sub or supporter to Speed Gaming, be it through subscription to any of the Speed Gaming channels or donating 250 bits or more total, you are eligible for the leaderboards, which we run the bot for. You have until we see Finalflame entering Ganon's tower.
And he likely has no idea what a lead he has here. He is 2 crystals ahead of his opponent. This is a very interesting route to take to Ganon's tower. I've not seen this one before. Maybe he is actually checking the Ether tablet along the way.
Yeah, probably wants to maybe find silver arrows.
Or the final sword, because otherwise you would just use the hookshot across, because that is always faster.
Yeah.
So he's still going a little bit out of the way to search. I still don't think he's gonna go into Paradox Cave to get the final sword, though.
Yeah, he's ideally looking for silvers or maybe some more ammunition in case it's on Ice Armos. Meanwhile, we're gonna see what Finalflame left behind here.
Unless this is Silver's Yeah. I think if this was a daily race, the seed, someone would go for the Mire play.
Yeah. Speaking of the daily race, actually, that's coming up in about 20 minutes, isn't it? And it's actually also an open mode race.
You may be right.
And I believe at 9 o'clock, actually, is the spoiler open race, in which the runners will be given access to a spoiler log so that they can plan their route. Those races are actually kind of fun. It's purely at routing execution. What are those restreams on, actually?
Well, we also have more matches in this league coming up later today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time over on Speed Gaming 3, and then after that over on Speed Gaming 2. Back-to-back will be Old Swagger Jackson versus Rush the Nintendo Swag, who will be playing their 2 matches for the week. Starting out with Walter versus Swagalicious, and then Magnificent versus LJM Nin.
Alright, so folks, Finalflame is entering the castle. When you guys see him enter, I'll stop the game. I may have the feed up on the side. Alright. Chest 1 is the small key. Chest 2 is the single rupee.
So here's the question. Is Finalflame doing the old standard strat of going over to the left side? Or is he doing something more Dark Magician-like and just checking the Stalfos room and then going back right? Also, we are seeing the big bomb.
Well, that means Scaryolive does have Argus down. We must have missed it on our end.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the back. The boss kind of died. That's what bosses do in this game.
4 and 5 are both small keys here for Finalflame. Chest 6 is a piece of heart. Chest 7 is a heart container.
I don't think... No, this is not going to work for Scary. He did not get the setup for that dash. So he was trying to get the sort of a dupe glitch that's allowed to do in the game for minor glitches that basically lets you dash and then the bomb just kind of still shows up behind you. It's a bit weird and don't really fully understand how it works.
Finalflame had to reset the room there. Probably doesn't know that you can do some bonk jumps across these gaps. Chest 8 is... That's actually a vanilla map in location 8 for us.
It's also that the bombs take quite a long time to explode and then to get across, whereas the hookshot is pretty fast in comparison.
I said bonk jump. You can actually just dash into the block.
I thought you said bomb jump.
Bonk, bomb. One syllable difference.
Yeah, that's the problem with languages.
It is a little bit. Alright, chest 9 here, the fire bar room. Or the fire snake room, rather. There. Words. Big key!
That's not a common location for that key. 40 rupees for Scary. And if he doesn't pull the mirror here, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. He is pulling the mirror. Now he just does not have to pull the flute.
And the correct close of preliminary guess was 8, and it was the Fear Agent. So congrats to you, sir. Let me go ahead and save those leaderboards for us now.
Finalflame really going out of his way here to look for another sword or silvers.
And so far, no one has broken 2 wins on the old leaderboard there. But hey, you got up there, so congratulations, Fear Agent.
And Finalflame really seems to want something more against the Ganon fight. He may not be too confident in the silverless. Look, it was a vanilla smoky.
Oh yeah, okay.
That answered that 1 hour-old question. unfortunate room here for Finalflame.
Yeah, down to just 6 arrows. Thankfully, that is the last enemy he absolutely needs to kill arrows on. They'll probably use tempered spins and fire rod shots to take care of the land molas on the way. And Moldorm 2, well, just slash him. Don't even try to poke him, just slash him.
Could always do the super safe straps and just bombos through the gauntlet if you want to.
Yeah.
If
So
you're really new to the game, you need to learn how to get through the gauntlet. Just spam bombos, it kills everything.
Scaryolive
if you have bombo status.
Yeah. Scaryolive, by the way, now is finally checking escape. Will eventually get the ice rod down here in Zelda Cell. But it's a little too late. Finalflame would have to have everything go wrong again to lose this one.
Yeah, Scary will be entering go mode in about 2 seconds. Finalflame already here in the gauntlet.
And
this lead is, by all accounts, insurmountable.
I mean, there is a very slim chance if Finalflame dies to like Aga 2 and has trouble getting the Ganon kill.
I died to Aga 2? What? Is that a thing? I've never seen that, but I guess it can happen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's exceptionally unlikely.
It's very unlikely, I will admit that. But it is a possibility that could happen. Just getting really bad luck in like the room before. Trying to not use any magic with the cape.
It is true that no race is over until it's over, but in these kind of situations, it takes a lot for things to change.
Yeah, it's
I am surprised it's not using the fire rod here.
Yeah. Wants to say the magic makes sense to me.
But there's full magic upstairs anyway. And he bought the potion. I could get the entire tower to that weird despawn glitch or whatever and force him to redo the gauntlet again.
Yeah.
If you really want to get hopeful for Scary here,
yeah,
that's
the most
pretty scary outcome.
The most likely scenario for Finalflame, though, for Finalflame, is falling to Ganon a couple times. Because doing tempered spins does give you a lot of knockback, and well, the recoil, if you don't position yourself right, could send you into that pit fairly often.
There's a full magic here in this room. Finalflame's opting not to pick it up and just waiting. No despawn.
Yeah, playing it completely safe makes perfect sense to me.
Will most likely still open this chest here just as he's done earlier. Still trying to fish for something. Could still be silvers in one of these.
Yeah. I mean, Ganon will tell us what the silvers are regardless, of course.
There's that final full magic.
Yep. So he wants to ideally not use magic here. I believe that counts as a tempered slash, so he wants to do a spin here.
Yeah, Moldorm, old friend.
Yeah. There goes Moldorm 2. And the final chest in the game has the silver arrows! What a find for Finalflame!
You know, if you make the right calls in the seed, you just go to the back of Escape to get the Ice Rod, and then you go Catfish and get Cane of Samaria. Despite what the time may look here, this could actually be a Jet Seed.
I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. What a lucky find for Finalflame. That locks it in. There's no way Finalflame is losing this. Even if he does fall to Ganon, the silver arrows are going to save so much more time as well, not having to do the silverless strat.
Yeah, he has to die to Aga 2 here for Scary to have any chance.
And even then, that might not be enough. You might need to die like 3 times. 1 for each clone.
I mean, these Aga patterns aren't being very nice to him, but doesn't matter. Aga is down.
And with Aga 2 down, it is now time to fight the pig. Tempered Sword and Silver Arrows in hand. 12 slashes to start things off in the phase 1. Afterwards, it will be the Fire Shield phase, in which it'll be another 12 slashes, or 6 spins, whichever one he chooses to do. And afterwards, it'll be phase 3, in which Ganon will teleport randomly in the room, seated for fairness. So both rooms get the same teleport pattern, unless there is a fall, in which it'll be different. 4 slashes as once Ganon stops teleporting around for that to happen, and then it will be the Darkness technique. 1 slash to stun with the lights on, and then 4 silver arrows. If Finalflame runs out of silver arrows, and with 11, it is a real possibility that could happen. It'll be 3 spins as Ganon starts to teleport away in phase 4 per missing arrow. You could do slashes.
He's feeling super confident here with the cape and bringing it out. Knows he has a blue potion in the back to restore.
Yeah. Now
if he didn't have silvers, he would not have done this.
Oh yeah. Now he could do slashes on phase 4 cannon for the silverless, but it'll be twice as many and also a 2-frame window. So we do spins for consistency on that for silverless. And that 2-frame window is exactly why you will never not see the silver arrows. Or rather, you will always see the silver arrows in a Sword of the Seed. Even on the higher difficulties, which we don't usually play. Yes, we did find the silver arrows in your tower. Would you like to have a taste?
So fire the silver, drink the potion.
Getting close enough. Gets the torch glitch!
You don't really... There are opportunities like this where you actually would prefer to not get the torch glitch because it makes it easier to set up a triple on the second cycle, but he didn't quite get there because the teleport wasn't good enough for him to do that.
That'll be good enough though. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs in chat for Finalflame. The Immortals will get their first taste of victory here in the Elite to Vast Randomizer League in the Lake Hylia division. And that official time is first place within a time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 31 seconds. GG.
Well, that was certainly a wild seed, a little bit all over the place. Also finding the red mail there on the right side, that was the final safety item of the seed.
Yeah. And we are now joined by Finalflame. GG's to you. You had to be feeling behind on that Thieves Town play, but that Ice Rod actually saved you, and you didn't even realize it. Talking through the seed.
That was just... wow. That whole seed was a roller coaster of emotions. So many times I'm thinking, great, I just threw it away. Just threw this away. Could have done well, but nope, I lost it right here. And just that end. To spend about 15 extra treks trying to find something. And there it is in validation.
Yeah, I take it you're not too keen on doing the silverless strats based on that statement?
I don't necessarily mind silverless, but if I do silverless, I'm going to want to have decent magic going in, and I did not. So I wanted to at least find either a sword, silvers, half magic, even more health would have been nice. Which is what I was searching for.
Well, we do know where the fourth sword is, thankfully. That one was in... actually, Paradox Cave.
Which I never had a reason to go to. Which is crazy.
Yeah, you were in go mode as soon as you set foot into Hera, pretty much, because of that hint.
Yeah, shout out to that hint. I wasn't expecting that. I get that and go, well, okay, but I still need to search for something. Which, at least I found the third sword in the beginning of Swamp, so that really helped.
That's pretty much... locked in outside of a horrifying Ganon that you were going to win, and then the silvers just removed that completely as well.
Yeah, that is crazy. This is why you validate people.
So about this early game, you had Dark World access after 5 minutes, but you still opted to do a very standard overworld route regardless, doing the entire South Shore section and then heading on into the escape section. Could you walk us through why you decided to make that call?
Yeah, so, I mean, pretty much, I'm not even done with CAC, and I'm looking at Dark World access going, you know, I could go to Dark World right here and check the village. But at the same time, there's so many early checks open, and you just never know what it's going to have. I didn't have a good reason to skip it or delay it.
And that, in turn, was what gave you the win there, because that let you find your Ice Rod. Also, good to know that Half Magic was on the shovel.
I don't think I ever found the shovel. Where was the shovel?
No one found it.
Oh.
For all we know, it's probably on that Misery Mire. Also, how scared of you were of that mire being required when you found the flute on the Armos Night?
Yeah, I had pretty much at that point, once I went to Mire and saw, even before I saw I had the medallion, I was committing myself to, I guess I'm going to Mire. What other options do I realistically have that aren't, you know, one thing's single checks here and there? And then when I found the mirror in the shed, I think it was, and I went, well, you know what? That just opened up a bunch more places. I've been looking for this. Forget Mire. But I was committed to going in. That mirror's what changed it.
Yeah. And for those wondering what PED was, there you go. It's a full heart.
I mean, this going back to it again, a seed that didn't require a single pendant dungeon visit when you look back at it.
Yeah, it's always nice to see those, and fortunately I avoided 2 of them.
Yeah.
I guess technically I only avoided 1. Do you really want to count the hint as going into a pendant dungeon?
Not really.
Yeah.
Considering it was the mirror to get access to Death Mountain, and Tower of Hera is right there, you know, and the hint is right there on the first floor.
I think it's one of the latest East Death Mountain access I have ever had. And the entire time I'm going, you know, I've skipped these one-off locations like Agina's Cave for so long. Imagine if it was Hookshot or Mirror there and I've been missing out on this the entire time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had things like that weighing on my mind for a while.
I mean, you also had the King's Tomb, which you never checked, which had the powder. That would have helped a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Although at that point, I mean, oh, yeah, you know what? I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah, I guess I got lucky on that one.
Well, both of you had very different routes this game. Scary went into the Dark World at that 5-minute mark when Skull Woods, then got the very early boots over in Village of Outcasts, while you just continued the overworld route for a very long time in the light.
Yeah, when I found the boots, I'm thinking, crap, I could have had this very early, you know, that's gonna put me at a disadvantage. But, as I said, you're gonna check the light world stuff eventually. I mean, at that time, I hadn't really stepped foot in a dungeon that I could only partially complete, so I felt it wasn't gonna be a time loss, even if I didn't find anything.
Yeah, and for the most part, with the exception of that amazing special hero hint on the ground floor, most of the hints you found were pretty much, thanks game, I already did that.
Better than my first match last week where I got hints mixed up in my head and it's actually part of what cost me the race, because I was out there looking for something that didn't exist.
Yeah. I mean, we had the Bombos hint, which was redundant because it was literally the next chest. We had...
Yeah, thanks for telling me I'm about to find Bombos.
The Magic Cape and Magic Rock, which you already had at the time. Armor in plain sight, which that was actually referring to the Pyramid armor. The other armor was actually in the Compass side of GT. Yeah, and shoutouts to, okay, I just took 3 deaths in Thieves Town, and then immediately following, oh hey, here's a potion, here's blue mail, here's a couple more hearts of health. Like, really, game? At least wait 10 minutes till the saltiness is gone to throw all this at me. And Scaryolive actually checks the final chest and gets the silver arrows as well, so... that was a weird spot for the silver arrows, to be perfectly honest.
That is so funny. And that changed my mindset, because at that point I'm really starting to worry about Ganon going, I don't know how well this is going to go. And next thing you know, oh hey, this changed the entire thing. Okay, I'm good now.
Yeah. And one other thing that also gave you the lead there was you checked those early locations. You also checked your flippers locations, and that also gave you the hammer. So another advantage your early rounding did give you.
Yeah, and then I wasted 500 rupees at Zora, and next thing you know, now I'm hurting on rupees. Really wish I hadn't have done that, but it was too convenient to tie in.
The rupees were quite interesting to keep track of, as both of you struggled a good amount with that, especially that digging game. I think neither of you could afford it the first time you were there.
No, I couldn't. Fortunately, I realized that as I started walking that way, and I went, no, I gotta go the other way. And I didn't even intend on doing it when I did. I was going to Ice Palace, and I took the portal and went, this isn't the portal I wanted to take. You know, I'm just gonna play this off and go to digging game. There we go. It'll look intentional.
Well, GGCU as well. This was a really great seed overall. Pretty much had everything you wanted and more. Even gave us somewhat early boots as well.
Yeah, early flute would have been nice, but you can't have everything.
Well,
although that kind of helped in that, well, I never had a chance to go to Meyer.
Well, here's the thing. You didn't really want to see the flute this seed, but given the mirror placement, it was no choice.
Yeah, kind of had to. Although you needed something to get in the desert.
Yeah, and that book was not in a good spot either. Although,
yeah.
if the hookshot and the mirror locations were flipped, you could have still avoided that. Because
Well, if the mirror location was where the hookshot was, then I'd be very concerned about the completion of the seed. Because I don't think you can have mirror Mimic Cave.
No.
At least I'd be a little concerned.
I want to say you can. I can't think of anything the reason why. Oh wait, no, that's right. Duh, you can't mirror into Mimic Cave. I'm thinking it all cylinder. Sure. I probably need to go get some coffee after this.
I don't want to play Entrance Rando. I'm taking that week off.
Yeah, I probably should go get some coffee after this. It's gonna be a long day for me, I feel.
Oh, I need more headache medicine. I had a pounding headache that entire seed.
Oh no! Scaryolive dies on Ganon, but has a fairy.
No. Caught a fairy earlier, got the bug net at the back of Escape.
I forgot all about that bug net.
Would have helped a little bit. And good to GG in chat for Scaryolive. Strong unfinished all the same. With an official SRL time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 52 seconds. GG's to them. We'll see about getting them in here for a quick interview here as well. Overall, though, fairly nice seed. Pretty much, as I've said.
Yeah, as I put in my IRC comment, it was a roller coaster of emotions the entire season.
Hello. Oh.
And we are now joined by Scaryolive. GG.
I'm not
GG.
hearing you. This is a problem.
That is indeed a problem.
So, first up, the Ice Rod kind of messed with you.
Don't think Scary can hear right now.
Yeah, he said as much. I think we'll be getting back to him later.
That's fair. Now we're gonna try this again. Hello, Scary. Can you hear us now?
Guess not.
But for you, Finalflame, this is your team's first win this tournament that you just gave them.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I still feel pretty good about our chances overall in the tournament, about advancing out of this round on the, I don't know, it's called the playoffs, whatever you want to call it, next round. But it definitely feels good to get that first win out of the way, and hopefully we'll collect another one this week and be back at 500 and have much more confidence.
Yeah, that game is on Thursday, Ultima versus Roach 788.
Sounds about right, I think at 9 or 9:30.
9:30. Channel to be determined for restream.
Alright, I can hear you now. Sorry,
Alright,
guys.
so
Fantastic.
GG.
GG
Welcome.
Scaryolive. That, like I said earlier, that ice rod kind of messed with me a little bit, but so it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
There was actually fairly distinct different choices in the early game. You decided to follow the Titan's Myths right away and start checking Dark World, whereas Finalflame decided to stay in the Overworld to check his initial early sphere locations, which rewarded him with that ice rod with the hammer early.
Yeah. Well, I think that my hammer was not a problem. I got it like on a good time. When I decided, I was hoping like if you can do the Dark World and get the mirror on the way, you can like chain everything. And then I got the boots, so I was like, okay, that's great. And then I decided to still do like pretty early flipper location with the. I think my early routing was good. I think I thought about going to check the escape when I went to do like the pyramid the first time. While I was on my way to Sumeria, and then I forgot. And then while I realized while I was on the way, I was like, oh, anyway, the mountain is up now. There's so much there, and yeah, it cost me a lot.
I would actually say that your early route was actually very inspiring. I particularly like the purple chest into Ice Palace call.
Yeah, well, when I got Bombos I got the hint in Bombos before. I was like, well, okay, we're going to ice after that. But I was like, okay, I got a hammer. I'm gonna. I like to follow the progression a lot, so I follow my items, and generally it leads me to a good place. But I full cleared pretty much the seed, and the ice rod cost me, because if I got the ice rod before Sumeria, just before, then I can go mode swamp, and I can and I don't have to double dip TR, so that's pretty big.
Yeah. Ironically, even though it was a joke at the start of Turtle Rock, it was actually fairly true.
Yeah.
For at least when you first visited. Just walk away.
Yeah, but I in my mind I was like, okay, even if I don't find it, like there's a good chance it's in swamp or Hookshot Cave. But unfortunately, yeah, a few things like that. Also, like when I got my lamp right after Pod and Eastern, like I generally don't have problems in dark rooms, so it didn't really matter. But this time I died randomly in the maze, and I could have checked that when I checked the back of escape. I forgot that I had the boots, and I didn't check those, and I would have saved the death there if I had the lamp. Pretty sure.
Yeah, and Finalflame, you also took a couple of deaths to blind. Actually, was setting up to do the scripted fight, but kind of messed up the end. Walk us through what your thoughts was regarding that.
I didn't realize how close to death I was until I died. I was just focused on, okay, one more hit, gotta get it, and next thing you know, oh, crap. And I figured, at that point, my confidence took a big hit. I'm like, I gotta go in and get this. I can't leave this till later. Went in, tried again. I think again I got to the last hit and died. And I'm like, all right, one more try, and that time I didn't even make it to blind. I'm like, let me just take the death and go somewhere else. Let myself cool down. Try and find something that'll help. And as I said, that's when I suddenly got the mail upgrade, all the health, a potion. At that point, It's alright, you're telling me to go back to blind.
The potion and ice was like a gift from God, I think.
I don't think Finalflame ever got that one, actually. He got the one on the old man.
Yeah, I skipped half of Ice Palace because I went in and found the bow right away after I went in the Eastern, of course. And then decided, alright, I got 2 items in early ice. I still don't have the hook shot in case I need that to access the right side. You know, I think the bow's the progression I was meant to get from here. Let's just go ahead and clear it and forget about the last item. Which I guess worked out.
It did. Of course, going to Palace of Darkness first would have probably helped a little bit more, given that fire rod.
Yep. What can you do? I'm happy I didn't die to cold stare, because going into that, I'm thinking, I'm not in a great position on this. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
For being a member of the Immortals, I sure did die a lot.
Yeah, I did use my fair share of fairies too.
Yeah, you were actually the only one to have power, Scaryolive. Finalflame skipped the King's Tomb.
Oh.
Not necessarily skipped, more like forgot I could do.
But yeah, GG to you both. Any final thoughts on the seat before we wrap things up here?
I want to say GG to Finalflame, and Sorry to my team, 2 Pearl, 2 Furious, for we still haven't a win here. We're gonna try hard. We're gonna come back, and 2 Pearl, 2 Furious for the win, except today.
Good mentality to have. Finalflame, your thoughts?
GG. The seed asked if I'd be its friend. You know, for most of that, my answer would have been a very solid no, but because of validation, I'll say, alright, I'll be your friend.
Well, that sounds great. The next matches in the league will take place in about 3 hours over on Speed Gaming 3. It will be Old Swagger Jackson versus Rush the Nintendo Swag. They're week 2 matches back to back. Game 1 on Speed Gaming 3 and Game 2 on Speed Gaming 2. You better follow all of the Speed Gaming channels 1 through 6 just to be sure you're catching them all.
Yeah, and if you want to see a little bit more Link to the Past randomizer action going on right now on Speed Gaming 2 is the Open Daily Race. And in regards to the daily races, join us back here on Speed Gaming at 9 o'clock for the Spoiler Open.
So we thank Finalflame and Scaryolive for bringing us this content here today. Of course, also thanking Kono Tyrant for helping with tracking behind the scenes. With all said and done, I've been Margella.
And I have been Wolfling Studios, and for all of us here at A Link to Past Randomizer, we shall see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.